Hello, my name's Adrian Christie. I'm the Chief Executive at Table Tennis England, and today's video is designed to give our members some context and some explanation behind the resolutions, both the ordinary and special resolutions, that will be presented to the AGM on Saturday the 16th of July. So the first resolution that will be proposed is an amendment to Article 23.1, which allows for company members to elect 4 directors. So members will be aware that a similar resolution was presented by the member for Berkshire in 2021, which the board heard and understood. The request to increase the table tennis knowledge on the board through increased member representation has subsequently been considered by the board of directors, and the proposal is one that the board are fully supportive of. The second resolution to be presented to the membership is a special resolution and requires a change to the article, so the introduction of a new article which will be 23.8. And what this change requires is that nominations received for elected directors shall be considered by the nominations committee, taking into account the candidate's ability, experience and expertise to fulfil the identified role on the board, and of the need to ensure the board has the appropriate balance of skills, experience, diversity, independence and knowledge. So the rationale that sits behind this resolution is that it is a requirement of the Code for Sports Governance and ensures that we can deliver against the code by ensuring that the nominations committee will review all applications that are presented for elected director roles against a role description and a skills and diversity matrix, and recommendations are made to the board on that basis. What it also does is still allows for all candidates to be presented to the membership for election. So a summary of the process will be that elected directors will be recruited through a recruitment process with candidates sought from across the Table Tennis England membership. Candidates for elected director positions will be considered by the nominations committee as determined by the role description and skills and diversity matrix agreed by the board from time to time. On the basis, the nominations committee will submit an appraisal of each candidate, identifying those with suitable skills to the board for consideration. The board will recommend those candidates with suitable skills to the membership, but all candidates will be presented to the members to vote for their preferred candidate. And vacancies for elected directors will continue to be filled as a vacancy arises. Okay, moving on now to Special Resolution 3, which is an amendment to Article 24.2, and as you can see on the screen, we've got some changes to some wording. So the inclusion of the nominations committee replaces an appointments panel, and also what you can see underlined is the need to ensure the board has appropriate balance of skills, experience, diversity, independence and knowledge. So again, based on the Code for Sports Governance, ensuring that the board has that balance, and to comply with the code, what is required in this particular amendment is the inclusion of the word diversity. But the fundamental process of appointing appointed directors has not changed. So just to reiterate what that process is, the appointment of appointed directors will be recruited through an open, publicly advertised recruitment process. A minimum of 25% of appointed directors will be deemed independent, as outlined in the code. Directors will be independent from any close connection to table tennis, and that means that they cannot come from within the formal governance structure of company members, such as a county committee or a league committee. All appointed directors will be considered against the needs of Table Tennis England as determined by our skills and diversity matrix, which will be agreed by the board from time to time based on the skills that we have on the board at any one time and the needs of the business. And all candidates for appointed director vacancies will be considered by the nominations committee and recommended to the board, and appointed directors will continue to be appointed as a vacancy arises. Okay, moving on then to Ordinary Resolution 4. Ordinary Resolution 4 relates to affiliation fees, and what had originally been presented by the board was an increase in fees For senior compete members to £20 and junior and cadet compete members would increase to £10. The Compete Plus would remain at £22 for the upgrade for senior and £11 for junior and cadets. Subsequently to the initial consideration of affiliation fees, we have been in some consultation with our members, and we have listened to the concerns that have been expressed by the membership on the current economic climate that is obviously affecting everybody, and board have agreed that the senior compete member will increase from £16 to £18, not to £20, and the junior cadet compete fee will increase to £9 instead of £10. Compete Plus will remain at a £22 upgrade for senior players and £11 for juniors and cadets. The next resolution, based on the conversations that we've had with members, has been withdrawn. So it was the intention that from the 1st of August 2022, we would introduce an affiliation fee for club play. That would be a £6 charge for senior players and a £4 charge for junior players. And as I say, we're very conscious, board are very, very conscious of the current economic climate, and have agreed that this resolution will be withdrawn. The next resolution is a special resolution which requires the removal of Article 34.3, and the requirement of the removal is again based on the code, and this is probably the most challenging resolution that's being presented to the membership. So currently our affiliation fees can only be set at a general meeting. Consequently, Table Tennis England is not compliant with the code for sports governance. If we are not compliant with the code, the consequences of that are that we risk our public funding, and our public funding is just shy of £11 million. So I hope members will understand the consequences of this resolution not being approved. And the code is very clear that the board must be the ultimate decision maker. Members of the organisation, you absolutely have an important role to play in our governance, and the requirement that the board has ultimate authority doesn't override or supersede the powers of our members. But there are matters that have to be reserved for the board to be able to make decisions, typically those that have a significant impact on our annual budget. And given the fact that affiliation fees are a significant part of Table Tennis England's own self-generated income, it will be expected under the code that the board would determine such fees to ensure that it's financially best placed to deliver its obligations. So we really do understand the change for the membership, but we also hope that as members you understand the consequences of not being compliant with the code. However, to ensure absolute transparency and an open dialogue with our membership, the board will commit to ensuring that consultation with the membership through both National Council and MAG, Members Advisory Group, in the setting of membership fees for each year will take place. And we'll do that actually earlier in the process. We'll do that around about the December, January time annually, so that we can properly consider the members' views when the board are setting its budgets. What we will also commit to do is to establish a long-term plan that limits the increase of fees to no more than £2 annually between now and 2027, save that the board has the ability to review should the organisation be faced with exceptional circumstances, and these will be circumstances that we just can't foresee right now. But our commitment is that if there is to be an increase of fees, it's done in a managed way. So I know there have been some concerns that perhaps fees would escalate. That is absolutely not the intention of the board to do that. If there is a need to increase fees, we would do that in a managed way, but by limiting it to no more than £2 annually. The next three resolutions that you'll see on the notice when it's published on the 25th of June are special resolutions 6, 7 and 8. Each of these 3 resolutions are technical changes, so I won't go into the detail of them right now. They'll be set out very clearly on the papers. But these are 3 article changes that have been recommended by the Rules Committee and are just designed to make our articles clearer to understand. The remaining resolutions, which are resolutions 9 to 13, are resolutions that are being proposed by company members, and the rationales and the detail of those will be found on the general meetings page on our website, along with all of the general meeting documentation. So they are the resolutions that will be presented to the annual general meeting on the 16th of July. I hope the explanations have been helpful in your considerations of where you will choose to vote. I would really encourage you to think very carefully and urge your support for the resolutions that are particularly are related to compliance with the code for sports governance. Table Tennis England has got a really exciting strategy ahead. I hope you may have seen the video that I produced recently to talk through what our strategy reset will do. Of course, we need the investment, particularly from Sport England and UK Sport, to help us to do that. So I really hope today has been helpful. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen, and we very much look forward to your support at the AGM. Thank you very much.